everybody. I'm Liz, as you just heard. We are Nifty. We help large companies schedule training more easily. Let me just switch over to this side. How's everybody's energy level?
Great.
So awesome. Can I get a show of hands? Who of you has ever attended a training session, ever? Cool. So, I don't know if you ever thought about it, how much effort goes into putting together one training session. In large companies, that's actually quite a complicated process because one training session means securing a trainer, making sure that there's a room where people get trained in. If the session is quite long, they might need some catering, some water, some food, some refreshments, printed handouts. A lot of sessions still happen with a printed manual. For sure, you need to invite people, otherwise you're in trouble. And a lot of equipment, PCs, flip charts, projector, all sorts of stuff, and many, many more. This is actually a very time-consuming activity, and it's done by the stars of the learning environment, who are the learning administrators. What they do is really crucial for companies. If people don't get their training on time, and good training and properly delivered, companies lose money and they stop being competitive on the market. So, what if I told you that it can take up to 10 hours to plan one training session? I know it sounds bogus, but believe me, I've been there, it takes up to 10 hours to do it. So multiply that by thousands or even tens of thousands of training sessions, and this is what happens during the course of a whole year in companies, medium, large companies. So it doesn't sound so bad so far, but the reality of learning administration is that it looks like this every single day, morning to evening. You have to send and receive tens and hundreds of emails every day. You need to input that data into Excel spreadsheets. You need to place an order with the catering company. You need to make sure that the printed handout is really orange, because if it's not, then you're in trouble, and so on. And this happens every single time a training session takes place. So we said, why don't we discover what's happening in large companies with training administration? While this isn't a problem necessarily for small companies, for Eli Lilly with over 40,000 employees, they need actually a team of over 50 people to administer the training for one whole year. So you can imagine that this is quite costly and it takes a lot of time, resources, and so on. We actually did discovery interviews, customer calls, had Skype meetings. We even went to clients' offices and we talked to them face to face, and we decided to find out more about the learning administration environment. We talked to people in the training aspect of the company, in the IT department, and so on, and we found out that there's a really big gap in the area of learning administration solutions. There basically isn't anything, or what exists isn't that sexy, let's say, because people don't necessarily think about training administration all that much. They just go to training and eat the snacks. So, I used to work for Xerox, which is a Fortune 500 companies, and I used to design learning admin processes for Fortune 500 companies. I tried my hand at hacking Jira to put together a dashboard that helps the learning administration teams. And it didn't work because Jira is really cool for IT projects, but it's not that cool for learning administration. It has some really serious gaps in terms of integrating pieces of information. So we got together with the team and we thought there has to be a better way to do this. So we decided to build Nifty. And what Nifty is, it's basically that place where all the training administration happens. You can book your trainer, your room, your catering, you can order all the printed handouts, all the other equipment in one single place, easily at the touch of a button. That means the learning administrator is more efficient, which helps save companies a lot of time and money. In fact, Nifty helps the learning administrator be up to 40% more efficient. For the example I just gave earlier, Eli Lilly, 40,000 employees, that helps them save about $1.5 million every single year. So, the training administration market has been growing every year in the past, I think, 5 years at least, and it's $18 billion. There are even large companies, as I mentioned, Xerox, my former employer, also General Physics, Raytheon, and other competitors that do just learning administration as a service for their clients. So that means that Nifty isn't just good in-house for companies who do learning admin in-house, but can also serve as a backbone for the learning admin outsourcing industry. We plan to sell our software based on the number of training sessions that the company has every year. And it will be like first package, a certain price, second, and then from a level upwards, let's say over 10,000 sessions a year or 5,000 sessions a year, it would be a conversation, a negotiation between us and the client, because the savings go into the millions of dollars. Speaking of customers, we recently started our partnership with the most prominent bank in Romania, Banca Techsylvania. You can see that they're also major supporters in this event. We are very grateful and very proud to announce this. We will start onboarding next month. We will help them become accustomed to the tool, get their feedback, and we will start working together on their training plan. The team is luckily has complementary skills. So myself with a background in learning administration as a trainer, a manager, but also a process designer. We have very talented tech guys who have done software for corporate clients and also for startups, and a very, very determined and dedicated B2B sales lead who really enjoys doing this. I think I can show you now a quick run through the demo. So let's say that, remember I told you you can take up to 10 hours. The reason why that happens is because you have to do a lot of follow-ups, sending emails, fill in spreadsheets, and so on. So I'll select my course, which will act as a template, and you'll see that it pre-fills some of the data. This makes it easier for the learning admin to just schedule a session. This is basically a master, and each session is a copy of that master. I will put in the date where this happens, and this will limit who can deliver the session, so the trainer, and where it can take place, so the available rooms. You'll see that John Smith will be my trainer because he's the only guy available. He doesn't need a car because he's in the same city, but we can also arrange transport. And for the room, let's say Mercury, because we know that this room is already fit for receiving this kind of crowd. I can also select a catering vendor. I need to input a couple more details there. I will save the session now, and you'll see that now it's in draft mode to the right of, actually I can point right over here. Now, if I go into this session and I want to contact these people so that I can place the booking, basically asking for their availability, in some companies you can directly book, but in others the trainer wants to be informed ahead of time. If I click on send orders, this will issue an email with active buttons, which makes the recipient able to confirm or decline. That takes the session into processing status. This tells the learning admin that this session is on its way to being ready. And once the people confirm, let's say the trainer says, I'm okay for that date, the session goes into, can you help me with that one? The session will go into ready mode. So basically all the learning administrator has to do now is wait for the session to take place. In case someone cancels or something happens, that goes back into processing and it notifies the learning administrator, dude, you need to focus on this one because there's a problem. That was it from my side. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to your questions.
Maybe two questions. The first one is, like, you have in-house trainers now, or you work with agencies?
Both.
Because normally, I know from my experience, I work with and for the big corporates, and like normally they have agencies running the programs. So you're connecting to their system then, or?
We will start by focusing on in-house training because we know that 60% of corporate training worldwide. For sure, we're aware of that, and I know that, for example, we received some really cool feedback from Rehau, I think, who said that it would be interesting to also incorporate a bidding module in Nifty to allow training vendors to bid for the optimal price for that session.
And can you provide a plug-and-play solution in the end, or is it a lot of? I think it's a lot of customization in the end, right? You have
Yes and no.
I mean, if you want to offer a product that really, like booking the room and also like catering and everything, you have to connect to the existing IT system. And this is normally a big pain.
Thank you for that question. Yes and no. If I have all my data now, all my trainers on a list and all my rooms on a post-it and whatever, if I start using Nifty now, I input them once and I save them there forever. So I can always reuse that room. Of course, we live in an environment where a company with 100,000 employees, I had an example of 140,000 employees, we had to convince them that if they don't give us a download of their 1,400 rooms with all their features, someone will have to do that manually and it will cost them more. So they gave us a download, it's uploadable, but we did that in another system because they weren't integrated. You upload it here and the rooms are there, so it's done. And we want to focus on smaller companies, which means that Nifty is what you see at face value and you use it. And if there's any feedback they can give us and we can improve, that's fine. But for larger companies where we're talking about savings into the millions of dollars, for sure we can speak about configuration.
Okay.
Maybe just one quick question. First of all, congratulations. I think it's a pretty cool service for a B2B
Thank you.
one. How hard do you think it is for you to integrate with companies? I mean, they have their current systems, and it's like an oil tanker, you know, that has to switch their current technologies to yours. How will you approach that?
Well, the amazing news that even surprised us is that we cold emailed about 300 companies, and about 10% of them said that they're interested and requested a demo. Eli Lilly is actually a client of my former employer, and they still said that they were interested, so I lifted a red flag and said, you know that I know a lot of stuff about you guys, and he said, I'm still interested because it's still not efficient. Direct sales for sure, and in terms of onboarding, I know that it can take up to 2 years to sign a contract to change from one LMS to another learning management system. This is supposed to be lightweight, one, and two, we will already connect to the APIs of the existing LMSs, so it will make it easier through the onboarding process. I anticipate that for a large company it shouldn't take longer than 3 months, let's say, but by large I mean we're talking about tens of thousands or more just for one installation, let's say, but it will be cloud-based.
What are the fees again, the costs?
We haven't tested, we don't know yet, to be honest, but we know that for a company of, let's say, 10,000 employees, we can go to savings of about 100,000 per year, maybe even more. So anything between 0 and 100,000, I suppose.
And have you talked to agencies that organize?
We actually got some interest at the previous IT festival from a training agency, because we initially thought of companies, of corporate clients, but for companies that deliver training, and I know for my previous clients, they had companies that did training with thousands of trainers in their cohort, they also were interested, so we're curious to discover this aspect as well.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Good job.